Okay, hi guys. I am Taisha Johnson. I go by Ty, and I'm hopefully going to be making a lot more of these videos. Um, so today is basically a special day because we're going to be learning how to be coding in Python. Um, we're going to be learning what is programming, how to use Git commands, and basically just getting the gist of being a developer. I have my notes here on the side so that I don't miss anything. And let's just dive into it and be quick about it. Yeah. So, if you've never coded before, this is genuinely the perfect place to start. Today, we're going to be building a real Python program, right? It's going to be a grocery budget tracker. If you enjoy going to the shops like me and consuming a lot of things, um, like chocolate, bread, um, yeah, just buying stuff. This is the perfect place to start for you. And if you also just want to get into coding, I do believe that Python is the perfect place, right? Most importantly about this video, I need you guys to understand that I'm going to explain every concept to you step by step so that you understand and not just type like with me. You know, I want you to have a grasp of why it works. Cool. So, what is programming? Before we jump into the code, we kind of have to understand the concept. This is for those who have never coded before, and for you to just kind of feel comfortable with it, right? Programming is simply, in my simple terms, playing God. Um, I know it's blasphemous, but basically, it's you um, instructing a computer to do something, right? Programming is simply giving instructions to a computer, just like a recipe just like a recipe tells you how to cook food. Code tells a computer what to do step by step, which is really dope. Python is one of the easiest programming language to learn because it sort of reads like English. Um, and if you do struggle to read, I'm telling you, Python is easy. Python is easy, and you're gonna probably become the best at coding. Yeah. So the things that I need you guys to have is oof. Okay. The things that I need you guys to have is GitHub. You see on my screen I have it open. I also need you to have Git installed. I need you to have Python installed. Have it be the latest version or the one below that. And then also have your preferred IDE. I need you guys to feel comfortable when you're coding. I know that I'm just diving in. However, we're just gonna go off the basis of you have those things installed, and we'll go from there. Okay. So the first thing that we're gonna do is open up a repository on GitHub, right? So let's create a new repo, and we're going to be naming it Grocery Budget Tracker. So when naming on GitHub, it is always good to have, how do I say? It's always good to have little dashes in between of your naming conventions, um, and giving them specific names, right? Half of the time, we just want to kind of name them like this, and it just becomes a little bit harder to read. So we separate them. Cool. So we're not going to add a description. We know we can even add one. We can say a cool. We keep it public if we want other people to see it. It's better to keep it private if you don't want people to see it, right? Public is for when you want to share it with people, and you want anybody to just have access to it. Private is when you give people access to your repo, and you can collaborate on a private repository, right? So we're going to add a readme, and we're going to create our repository. Cool. So over here we can see our little description that we gave, who contributed, and we see the readme that we added on. Okay. So once we are ready to clone our repo, which is to bring it on locally onto our PC, we have to go to code, and then we click the URL in order to clone it. Okay. So I need you to open up your CMD, which is your command prompt. Okay. Okay. So I need you to open up your command prompt. This is so that we can clone it and then open it up in our IDE. I prefer to do it this way. I just need people to feel comfortable in the beginning. Later on, you can clone things in your IDE terminal. Okay? So we're going to CD, which is to move forward to our desktop. Once we are in our desktop, we're going to git clone. That means git clone, and we paste our link that we took from the GitHub. Cool. Now we have it, right? And the next thing that we want to do is we want to open up our IDE, and we want to find our repository. While we wait for that, let's see what's going to happen. Cool. So we have our IDE open. Okay. So one thing that you need to know is the naming convention for Python. Naming convention is basically how we're going to be naming the file and what is the extension name on the end, right? For Python, we're going to just name this file index.py. That is our extension. Okay. You'll see that I really love this. So I'm going to explain something before I continue, and that is the ethics of using AI when coding. A lot of the time people are using AI. Same as me. We use it for everything these days. You can't not use it. Senior developers are not even coding half the time anymore. They're just using AI to create the basis for it, and then they fix everything in it, and then they move on, right? I need you to feel comfortable having AI there, but still trying to learn what the code is doing. Because when you just use AI, yeah, you're gonna basically lose. Okay, so today we're going to be learning, well, in this little first program, we're going to be learning about inputs and outputs. Okay, so inputs and outputs, those are basically what is a variable and what is an input and what is print. Okay, we always use variables. I don't think anywhere else. Like whether you're learning JavaScript, Java, Python, whatever language, you're going to use a variable. Okay, and a variable is like a container. This is your container, and inside of that container, we're going to store data inside of it so that we can use it later and call it later. So that's basically like a cupboard, and inside that cupboard, you're putting food, a can of baked beans, and you know that you're going to use baked beans in a chutney later, right? So later on, you're going to open up the cupboard and you're going to take out the baked beans to use it later on, right? Then there is an input, and this is a function. A function is a reusable block of code. Do this. This is reusable. I'm going to be keep using this in most of my videos. I like using my hands so that you can always remember, so that while you're speaking, you can understand. Okay? It is a reusable block of code that performs a specific task. Cool. Then we're going to kind of go over what is the text inside of that input. And that is what the user sees. So whenever you see an application and they ask for your name, your surname, all of that, the sentence, what is your name, what is your surname, that is the text bracket that is attached to it. So let's code that out, right? So now we have name is equal to input, and inside of that brackets we have what is your name. I'm going to keep a little space open up there. Cool. So then we want to be able to see that, right? So now we know we've got name. Name is our variable. A variable is a container that stores data, right? Like the cupboard. Cool. Then we have input, which is our function. A function is a reusable block of code. So I can use this over and over and over again. I can say input, and then the code knows, oh, okay, Ty wants to basically add something in here. Always asking the user for something, right? And we have our question, which is our text. Cool. Okay. So in order to see this, right, we have to use print. And print is a function that displays the information on your screen. In this case, we're going to be seeing it in our terminal. Okay. So you can see there that the AI agent kind of wanted us to do it, but we'll type it out, okay, because we want to learn. Okay. And you'll notice that I'm calling the variable at the end, okay, because we're calling the stored data. It's asking me for something, and so therefore I am going to be, hold on, it's asking me for something, and so therefore I will be giving it something, and it's storing that data until I call it. And where am I calling it? I'm calling it in the second line, right? In line 2, you'll see print hello name. So now we are asking the user for an input, we are storing it in a variable, and then we're printing it back out, right? That's already like a full interaction with the user. You're already asking the user for information. You're saying, please get back to me, which is really dope. Yeah, let's print that out. So we are going to be opening up our IDE, sorry, our terminal, and we're going to run the code. Cool. So do you see here that it says, what is your name? Okay. And we'll say Ty. It says, hello Ty, which is really dope. That is in essence your first program, learning about input and output. Okay. And I